I'm meteorologist Carley with your weather impact for the first weekend in September. We are looking at a heat advisory now coming to an end, but still for the weekend on your Saturday, warm and even gusty conditions from Saturday to Sunday, and even gusty into next week as we could start seeing some elevated fire concerns. Wind gusts picking up not just through the Delta, but over the Sierra Crest. Now, we will be looking at 90s and even maybe 100-degree temperatures still remaining for us Saturday, despite that heat advisory coming to an end in the Sacramento area. But gusty winds could also begin moving in next week as we are expecting a trough to move in from the Pacific Northwest, increasing our wind speeds. And if any kind of spark does happen, that could move rapidly. But next week, we're also seeing a gradual cooling trend to near normal temperatures expected. Take a look at this. Highs today, 102 in Sacramento, but 104 in downtown Sacramento, 104 Marysville, 107 in Oroville, 105 Stockton, 104 in Modesto. We even hit close to about triple digits in Jackson and Auburn with 95 in Placerville, mid-80s up high in the Sierra. Now, here's where it starts getting interesting. Let's check in with ourselves. In downtown Sacramento, the hottest temperature ever recorded here was just 2 years ago at 116 degrees. Today, we reached 104 in downtown, so the departure there 12 degrees. But as we start looking at our climate data for downtown Sacramento, look at all of these yellow arrows here. You can't see all the data and the numbers, but I will break it down for you. In the last 40 years, 15 of those years saw peak temperatures at or above 110 degrees. Now, the climate records date back to 1877. And from 1877 into 1983 there were only 6 years that were above 110. So we have more than doubled the amount of years that we're seeing at 110 degrees plus. I want to break this all down for you as we look at some of these dates way back, dating back since 1877. After that, it wasn't until 1898 we saw 110 degrees. By 1925, so we still had to wait quite a while till we saw temperatures over 110 degrees. We got to 114. 1933, 111, 1934, so these 2 years are pretty hot there. You saw 112, and of course the Dust Bowl we know was in the 1930s. 1961, 111, and 113 at 1972. So just 6 of those years, we saw those years with temperatures over 110 degrees for at least one of those dates. But recently we've seen 15 years in the last 40 years. So this is just to show that, yes, climate data does date back thousands of years. We've seen it in fossils. We see it all the time. And yes, weather, climate is cyclical, but we have been seeing rapid increases of this climate and heating than we've seen in years past, and even that fossils are showing. So just kind of breaking it down for you for all the other years that we're starting to see temperatures each year continue to see at least 110 and higher, and even multiple days of it. Now, the heat advisory that was in effect for us has expired around the Sacramento area, but south into the Central Valley all the way down to Southern California, we're still looking at heat in place until Saturday night, 8 p.m. for the Central Valley. And then looking into Southern California, red flag warnings and excessive heat are in place until about 10 p.m. Now, as we look at our high pressure system finally moving out of the area, we are looking at a low that's been circulating. That's been helping to bring about some thunderstorm chances for the high Sierra today. We did see some of those thunderstorms and some lightning strikes up there, but most of them over the Sierra Crest. A low pressure system over the Gulf of Alaska there is going to continue to bring that trough closer to us as we move into next week. And what we can expect with that is a cooling trend. But of course, wind speeds expected to pick up. Just earlier today, we did see a few of those sprinkles and some thunderstorms over the region, but not really affecting anyone over here. But we've also not seen any reports of fire outbreaks. So that's the good news. Saturday afternoon, wind speeds pick up and wind gusts pick up for us through the Delta inland, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Over the Sierra Crest, we are looking at faster wind speeds, especially around Yosemite, about 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, even at the peaks there. So, of course, please be safe if you had plans to head up high. Now, looking at our 500 millibar chart, you can see that we're starting to trend cooler as we move toward next week. You see this big dip here, that trough that moves into Northern California by Wednesday. That'll bring in cooler temps, but again, wind speeds pick up, but with this could also mean some chances for showers. So what we can expect here is that deepening happening, winds coming in from the north, right over land, depending on exactly where this position. If it positioned at an angle coming in from the ocean, we get higher humidity levels. So we get the ocean breeze and that air raising our humidity. Now that this is over land, we may see that humidity dropping for us, and that could be pretty bad when it comes to potential for fire outbreaks. So that's not necessarily good news as winds pick up, but of course cooler air will move in. So that's a little bit of a trade-off for us. As it transitions out of our area, we should start to see at least a little bit of a zonal flow, leaving temperatures similar for at least that next week out and into the following weekend. Mid-90s this weekend with upper 90s on Monday. Then check this out. We start getting into the upper 80s to low 90s next week, and that does seem to continue for us as we move toward the following weekend.